I thank you, Benita, and of course I'm here with our diplomatic correspondent Ellie Hockenberg and Jeremy Saltan, the Director of English Operations for Naftali Bennett's Yamina Party. And the talking has largely finished now, and now we're getting to the key, the voting. The first comes the vote for the Speaker of Knesset, and this is the first real test to see that the change bloc has those votes in place.
Right, and it seems that we're not expecting any surprises. We've seen outgoing Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu walking here short minutes ago. And throughout the day, I've been trying to detect, according to the look of his face, what is he feeling? And short minutes ago, he's saying it's a sad evening. And I think that despite the fact that Naftali Bennett is Prime Minister designate, the man of the hour remains Benjamin Netanyahu to an extent, because it's not just a coalition replacing him after 12 years in the role. We need to look at the identity of those different leaders. Avigdor Lieberman, Naftali Bennett, Ayelet Shaked, Gideon Sa'ar, Yair Lapid, all of them at one point or another worked for him, worked with him, and all of those people are now joining forces in a bid to replace him. And this comes after a relatively successful year for the premier. We're talking about combating the coronavirus like no other country on this planet. We're talking about historic agreements with a number of Arab parties here in Arab countries, rather, here in the region. We're talking about overwhelming support among major sectors of the public, and as a proof for that, we're seeing the results of the elections, right? 72 seats for right-wing parties, and all those victories were far from enough for Benjamin Netanyahu to maintain his rule. So again, I think that at least for the coming hour or two or so, the man of the hour remains Benjamin Netanyahu. Very difficult evening for him on the personal level, for sure, and also politically, despite his feisty speech earlier in the day. Some challenges as leader of the opposition, a role he did not fill in many, many years.
Right. It's the end of an era, no matter what happens, even if he should return to the Prime Minister's office. But in just a few minutes, there's going to be a vote in the Knesset, in the Parliament, to choose the Speaker of Parliament, and that will replace the Likud's Yariv Levin with Yesh Atid's Mickey Levy, former police chief of Jerusalem. And that will be the test, the indicator that this change bloc has got the votes it needs. And Naftali Bennett, I think we have to kind of agree with Ellie there that Benjamin Netanyahu is still the man of this hour, but the burden then comes on Naftali Bennett, and those are going to be pretty big shoes to fill one way or another, Jeremy.
You know, I've been with Naftali Bennett since he started down this road in 2012. I can tell you that he's ready to go into those shoes. Look, he is leaving quite a legacy, Benjamin Netanyahu, but you know, it comes down to a time in every leader when they need to go ahead and they need to step down and let the next generation take over. And that's what's happening tonight. You have a former Benjamin Netanyahu chief of staff. You have a guy who was a former defense minister to, of course, Benjamin Netanyahu. His former education minister, his former economy minister. This is something that makes a lot of sense.
Right. That's just one man, Naftali Bennett, because as Ellie mentioned, all of the other, except for Yair Lapid, we're looking at people that are proteges of Benjamin Netanyahu. In a way, he created this government. And
this makes it even perhaps more tragic, again, for the persona called Benjamin Netanyahu, not talking about it politically. Just a brief update from what is currently unfolding at the plenum. Long hours of debate. Now there's a vote for another candidate, not the pending coalition's candidate for Parliament Speaker. Now they're voting over Yaakov Mergi. Then they will move to vote over Mickey Levy, the one who gets the more votes. He's the one elected, obviously. We're expecting Mickey Levy to be voted on, and only then the big crucial vote of the evening, the vote for or against this pending coalition. And I think that in this respect is also no doubt that the test today for this pending coalition, whether they'll be indeed able to approve this, the formation of this coalition against tremendous pressure, really until the very last second. The battle or the fight to detect defector was perhaps unprecedented from the other side of the political aisle, and there's no doubt that it will be a great achievement. The question is what happens tomorrow morning or a few mornings from now, and the euphoria, will slowly fade away, and very feisty opposition will try to undermine the cohesion or lack thereof of this coalition day in, day out. Lots of challenges ahead.
Right. I want to go back to Jeremy and because we spoke on I-24 News with one of those defectors from your own party, Amichai Shikli, who had said that he would not vote in favor of this government. Of course, Benjamin Netanyahu and the Likud are going to still be probing. But you seemed to suggest last time we spoke that maybe this government could pull people from Likud. You have some names for us, Jeremy?
I'm not gonna pull a Shlomo Kari here and give you any names. I'm just saying that I think it's something that a lot of people can understand, that the way that we are going about this and the way that, frankly, every 61 coalition has gone about since the 70s, which was the first time it was tried during Rabin's first term as prime minister, is that you start with 61 and you grow as the term goes on. We're going to do the same exact thing. That could come as a split from a party. That could come from an entire party. But I am quite confident as this time goes along, this coalition will continue to grow.
Well, Jeremy mentioned growth, and that takes me to perhaps what I will suggest the first failure of this coalition, even though it has yet to be formed: the size of the spending government, especially a very clear vow of Yair Lapid not to have expended governments of endless ministers and deputy ministers. I think that if we're talking about a genuine chance for a change here, this coalition did not succeed in this respect, because the role of a lawmaker is a very dignified, important role, and they had a chance to bring back the glory to the position of a lawmaker.
I want to give Jeremy you have about 30 seconds to give an answer.
We differ with Lapid on this. We believe in the Norwegian law, which allows additional legislators to come in, that strengthens the Knesset. It also allows the ministers to go about their business without having to jump here to vote on a razor-thin majority. So, that's one thing where we disagree, but I think this is actually a good thing that we're able to go ahead and move forward on.
Okay, I should point out that if that were to happen, Norwegian law and ministers, you could well enter the Knesset yourself, Jeremy, so you're not a totally objective party on that.
I'll confess that I'm not totally objective on that issue.
We'll see if that happens, but let me go back to our Benita Levine in the studio there.